everybody, and welcome to the History and Chill channel, where we combine history and ASMR. Today I composed some random historical facts. I prepared 10 facts. I picked out facts that I thought were interesting, and I really hope you also think they are interesting, obviously. And yeah, for the rest, just relax and listen to the facts, I guess. Also, if you like these kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe. Anyways, starting this one off with fact number 1. In 1983, one man prevented a nuclear war between the USSR and the USA. His name was Stanislav Petrov, and he was the duty officer at the command center of the OKO nuclear early warning system. Now, this system showed 6 incoming missiles, and Petrov, he judged the warning signals of this missile system to be a malfunction, and luckily for the world, that he did just that, because otherwise, if he would have judged it to be an attack from the USA or its NATO allies, then probably, the world we would live in now would look a lot different, I guess. And yeah, it turned out to be a malfunction indeed, so he avoided a nuclear war, which is kind of like a big achievement in life, I guess, if you are the person who single-handedly avoided a nuclear war. So yeah, Stanislav Petrov, remember the name. He's a good guy though. Moving on to fact number 2. Actually 2, because this makes it 4. But yeah, anyway. Fact number 2. Potatoes were not popular in France when they first got introduced. There was a pharmacist called Parmentier, and he actually introduced the potato in France. No, he didn't introduce, I'm sorry. He made the potato popular with the masses. Now, at first, when the potato came from the New World, the newly discovered Americas, people in Europe, and especially farmers and lower class people, just regular people actually, the farmers, they didn't like the potato at all because of multiple reasons. And from the top of my head, there are 2 main reasons. One, because back then they were very religious, and a potato is grown in the ground, and they thought that everything that was beneath the ground was belonging to Satan, was devilish, because Satan was also under the ground and God was in the skies in heaven. So that's one of the reasons. And the other reason is because people actually thought that the potato could cause leprosy, because sometimes if you look at a potato, it can look like a disfigured hand or something, and this reminded the peasants and every other person in those times that it reminded them of these leprous hands, which is why they avoided eating the potatoes at all costs. But Parmentier, however, he saw the enormous benefit of the potato, because he knew they were rich in nutritional values, and he made up this plan to get the masses interested in the potato, because he rented out these large fields near Paris, and he planted potato plants on them. Now what he did is Paris, he installed wealthy, impressive-looking guards near the fields, so that the people of Paris would be interested in what was growing on the fields. Sort of like that's a psychological trick, I guess, to make them interested. And he also told these guards that the people of Paris would be allowed to steal. So if there were people stealing the potatoes from the fields, the guards would act as if they would try to catch them, but actually they would just let them have them, because Parmentier just really wanted the French people to start eating the potato, because he knew it would solve a lot of hungry feelings. And a potato is really healthy and really good for you, and it is easy to grow as well. So yeah, and I also believe that later on, even though Parmentier, he was close with King Louis of France back then, when the revolution came, he was praised by the revolutionists for introducing the potato to the French masses. So yeah, his name kept his honor, I guess. Was kept in honor even after the revolution. So yeah, Parmentier, the potatoes. Now you also know that one. Moving on to fact number 3. During the Second Mithridatic War, which lasted from 83 to 81 BC, it was a war between Pontus and the Romans. The Romans laid siege to Themyscira, but this fortress had enormous walls. So what did the Romans do? They started tunneling, and they tried to dig tunnels underneath the walls. But the rival, they caught up with what the Romans were doing. So when they were thinking like, we need to counteract, we need to do something about this. So what they did is they dug out trenches, and you have to imagine it like this. These Roman tunnels were going like this, and the trenches were like that, and then they started digging and trying to guess where the Romans were digging. So when they caught up, they could enter these tunnels, and then they released like these enormous enormous amount of wild animals, including bears and also bees, like just unleashing them inside the tunnels to kill off or scare off the Roman invaders, which is like, I included this one because I thought it was a creative way of fighting war, I guess. And also because the concept of tunneling is something that I find a smart strategy, I guess, and it was also used in the First World War. I think like Tommy Shelby from the series Peaky Blinders, he used to be a tunnelier. If you saw the show Peaky Blinders, then you must probably know that, which is, by the way, an amazing show, in my opinion. But yeah, anyways, moving on to fact number 4. Pope Stephen VI dug up the remains of his predecessor, Pope Formosus. This happened in 897. Now you may think like, what's so special about that? But in fact, Pope Stephen VI accused his predecessor, so the person who he had dug up the remains of, he accused him of perjury, and he thought that he still needed to face trial for his acts, even though he was already dead. So Pope Stephen VI ordered Formosus to be dug up, and then he would face the tribunal. And at that trial, Formosus was thought guilty. And what they did blessing fingers of the Pope, of the Pope Formosus, who was found guilty, and then they buried the remains, and I think outside of the tomb, to like some sort of disrespect. However, when this event was spread out throughout the world, when this scandalous event back then, for sure, was spread out in the world, Pope Stephen VI actually was losing a lot of popularity, and he eventually got jailed, I guess, because of this event. Now, you may think that a pope could do pretty much everything back in the medieval times, which would be partially true, but because of Christianity digging up the remains of another pope, or actually any person, was thought of as, yeah, highly insulting towards towards God, you know, because the dead should be able to rest, I guess, like rest in peace. But anyways, moving on to fact number 5, and this is a cool one. I believe is a cool one. In 1795, French cavalrymen captured a Dutch Republic fleet, and this fleet was 14 ships large and it had 850 guns. This is an extremely rare feature in history, that cavalry units capture whoa, there's a fly here. That cavalry units capture ships, you know. This was because the Zuiderzee, or the Southern Sea, it was completely frozen, and this led to a regiment of French hussars being able to cross the sea and to capture the Dutch fleet that was frozen inside the sea. And yeah, I thought this was really cool because I never heard of cavalry capturing ships, because, you know, if you think about it, it's impossible. But apparently it did happen, and it didn't actually happen that far from my home. I mean, like, I'd still need a few hours to drive there towards the Zuiderzee, but I just thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, so moving on to fact number 6. The first bombing campaign that was done by the RAF, the Royal Air Force, was a complete military disaster. These bombing campaigns started in 1940, and it was meant to demoralize the German public. However, the first one was a disaster, to say the least. They had 6 bombers of them that were just crashed. 6 of the 50 that were on the mission crashed, and they didn't even make any like human casualty, but they did get a fatal casualty. But this was an elephant at the Berlin Zoo, and they apparently also injured 2 of the German citizens, but they were like lightly injured. So they completely missed targets, and yeah, the only casualty was apparently an elephant at the Berlin Zoo. And they lost 6 of their own bombers. So you could say that this was a military disaster, the first mission of the RAF to bomb the German cities. I mean, like, it's a funny fact, but still, you know, poor elephant though. Unlucky man. Unlucky elephant. Moving on to fact number 7. During the American Civil War, there was a battle called the Battle of Bull Run. It was nicknamed the Picnic Battle famous civilians and the wealthy elite of Washington, they went picnicking on the sides of the battle, on the sidelines, whilst the battle was being fought. So, yeah, that's like one form of live entertainment during your lunch, I guess. It is worth noting that this was the first battle of the Civil War, and many people believed the Civil War to be over really quickly and that it would not be that bloody. So that's why maybe they decided to go watch the battle and picnic near the battle. However, I did read a little bit more into this, and I found some sources that said that the media back then heavily exaggerated the amount of picnickers that were there. Apparently they just wanted to like have this sensational story of picnicking people next to a battle, but I'm not really like, I don't know which source has it at the right end, I guess you can kind of sort it out yourself, because it's always difficult when the media starts like exaggerating points, like I'm just rambling about, moving on. Fact number 8. At Castle Itter in Austria, a very weird battle took place during the end of World War II. The Americans apparently fought side by side with the German Wehrmacht soldiers to rescue French POWs. They fought against the SS, and the SS is a division of the German military back then, as well as the Wehrmacht is, and the SS are thought to be the most fanatical. I have a video about the SS, if you can look for it on my channel. And yeah, so apparently this incident is the only incident where Americans fought side by side with Germans during World War II. Yeah, I didn't really hear about this battle before I was reading the source, I guess. So it pretty much amazed me. I did look a bit into it, but not that deeply. So I thought it had something to do with the French POWs being stuck, and there was like the Wehrmacht wanted to deliver the French POWs to the Americans, to avoid a fight, I guess. But the SS were so fanatically driven by the Nazi ideology that they would not want to surrender, which caused the battle to take place. But you can read more if you want to. It's Castle Itter in Austria, you'll find it. Moving on to fact number 9. This one is kind of like, there's an ironic twist to this one. The longest ever US presidential inauguration speech belongs to William Henry Harrison. Ironically though, his presidency was the shortest in American history. Now it is said that during the speech it was really cold outside. Not really cold, I thought it was 9 degrees. But I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit. I'm sorry if you're American and watching this. But yeah, apparently it was cold and windy, and the president, Harrison, wasn't wearing a coat or scarf or anything like that. And it is rumored that he caught a cold during his long speech, and that cold turned into pneumonia over the coming weeks, which eventually led to his death. So yeah, I guess it was a bad decision of him to not wear a scarf that day. University was founded long before the Aztec Empire was founded. The Aztec Empire apparently was founded in 1428, and meanwhile Oxford University was founded around 1096. And to me that was cool because I mean, like, the entire Aztec Empire and Oxford University being older than the Aztec Empire. And also I included that one as the last one because there's this connotation about the Middle Ages. People call it the Dark Ages, but actually if you think about it, there's a lot of good things that have happened or took origin in the Middle Ages. For example, universities and yeah, all kinds of technologies as well. So I always thought that the Dark Ages was a name, a poorly chosen name, I guess. But yeah, I'm sorry, there's a bug here and it's annoying me like hell. But yeah, those were the 10 facts that I chose for today. I really, really hope you enjoyed the facts a bit. At least I thought they were interesting. But yeah, also let me know in the comments which fact you thought was the most interesting. And also let me know in the comments which facts or what you want the topic to be for a future video. I will be working on a Russian revolutionary themed video, and maybe a video about the Soviet Union. I'll include that together because it was suggested by a viewer and then it got backed up by other viewers. So I will work on it, I promise. Anyways, that was it for today, and I'll catch you in the next video, I guess. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.